Yo! What's going on, everybody? I am not Christian Piles, as I'm sure you could tell. I'm Kyle Brackey. Christian is on his way back from his awesome shoot with Darian Caldwell. We'll be playing some clips from that today, but once again joined by JD Rader in studio. Ben Askren in Wisconsin. How you doing today, Ben?
Let's see. I'm doing pretty good. I going to work outside after this. I got some wrestling practice tonight. Oh, we got to pay taxes today. That's a big one.
Oh, you didn't do your taxes yet?
Well, they're getting done.
I think you can just delay them.
Yeah, get your extension.
I would rather just get it over with.
Yeah.
I'm a more rip the Band-Aid off kind of guy. I mean, obviously I paid my estimated, so I should be all good to go. But you get your final workout today.
I hear you. Mm-hmm. So let's start with our man John Kozak, Ben's favorite.
Oh, he's probably mad at me.
No, you're all good this time. But he sent us a tweet, and I want to pull it up here. But it's talking about it's a local Indian paper talking about Vinesh, one of India's top women's freestyle wrestlers. And it's talking to her coach and just about how everything's been in quarantine and if you think there'll be a World Championships this year. And he said, quote, "The competition dates have been announced. Yes, but I think in the current situation and rules, organizing the event is mission impossible," he told Wrestling TV. Also, the Belgrade Arena where the World Championships is supposed to be held is still a hospital for COVID.
There's a picture
Looks nice.
right there. Sorry if you're just listening to this, but if you're watching, there's a picture of what we believe to be the arena where Worlds is supposed to be held.
Guys, but in all fairness, that is 5 months away, right? It's December. We're in July. Yeah, 5 months.
I thought it was September.
No, they built a few. No. The Worlds? That's going to be December now. I mean, it was initially.
Yeah, December.
Okay,
December.
Yeah. My bad.
So
Late
we're
December,
having 5
too.
months. And listen, I told you guys, they
Mid-late.
built a few of those here in Wisconsin, and not one person ever entered them, to my knowledge. So yeah, and obviously India's getting hit pretty bad with the coronavirus as well. I don't know how their lockdown situation is or how strict it is. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you guys could talk about stuff. Feels like it's getting worse every day with the fall season. I know we said Patriot League, and you guys maybe mentioned the PSAC maybe is getting moved also.
I did not see that, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
so that would affect like
January 1.
Clarion and Lock Haven.
Yep, all those schools. Yeah, so that's not positive.
To your point, Ben, it looks like, according to the city's deputy mayor, Belgrade City Deputy Mayor, the makeshift hospital in a sports hall in the Serbian capital, Belgrade, is a precautionary measure as hospitals in the capital are reaching their capacity because of the coronavirus outbreak.
Yeah, Serbia, the country as a whole, is doing the whole, in terms of new cases, the U-shape where they spiked up high in April, went back down, and now they're going back up. So, like you said, this is still many months away, but big events like this take preparation. You can't just, have it be a hospital one day and then be like, but we're going to be good and hop into it. It takes time and preparation to put on an event like the World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that I had, and I don't recall what the number was that you guys discussed when we talked about this last week, Brecky, but there was something like 80% of the nations have to, I think it was 80% of the top 10 have to confirm that they want to attend the World Championships in order to hold it. And if that's not if they don't, then that's tough for me. That takes 3 people saying we're out. Right? That takes three teams, and that's it. And that doesn't feel like a lot.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of teams or a lot of countries pulling the trigger on this. Yeah, it just doesn't. I'm reading about what Serbia did to kind of handle everything at the start of things. It says the country went from having some of Europe's toughest lockdown measures to near complete reopening at the beginning of May. Soccer and tennis matches were played in front of packed stands, resulting in several players testing positive. That seems not smart. It was probably okay to bring sports back, but in front of packed stands.
Which Eastern European country didn't even close down?
I don't know.
It was Sweden or Switzerland, I think.
No, okay, no. That's a Scandinavian, and Sweden did not close down, I believe. But there's another one. What you like, I'm a geography major. I'm a nerd.
I know. I know. I'm laughing at you clowning on JD.
Not Eastern European, bro. Come on.
Well,
JD, where'd you go to
tossing out a
college?
European country that didn't lock down. My bad.
I'm thinking like Hungary or Romania, one of those ones over there, Bulgaria. I'm blanking on which one it was right now, but one of them they did not shut down and they kept soccer matches and everything going. And they had a medium outbreak, but it wasn't really terrible. Yeah, obviously I don't want. I tweeted this last night. That I'm not smart enough to tell everyone's my prediction on Corona or someone my opinion. Dude, it's like I try to have good pattern recognition, like what's working, what's not. And as you study all these things around the world, there's some of these countries that went into full, complete lockdown. There's some that went into no lockdown. There's some that went to partial. It's like it doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason. It's like a few of these countries didn't lock down at all, and they had reasonable results. Some didn't, and they're terrible. Japan and New Zealand locked down totally complete, and they had great results. Right? It's like it feels like it's just a spectrum across the board. And then even within states within the United States. Like California stayed locked down and they're having an insane case spike, whereas Texas and Florida opened up. They're also having an insane case spike. So being open or being closed didn't really affect those three things, right?
Yeah.
Those three states having different outcomes. It's kind of like it makes my head hurt.
I know. I guess on the good news side of things, the AP reported yesterday the first vaccine tested in the U.S. for the coronavirus boosted volunteers' immune systems as hope. The final study starts this month. So hopefully that keeps going in the right direction.
I saw Trump tweet about that also.
Oh, gosh. I can only imagine what he said.
He said great news on vaccines or something simple, actually.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So
he only says mostly inflammatory stuff, not all inflammatory.
Fair. So we talked about Stanford for a good bit last week, the loss of a D1 program. But today, it's not new news. This was news 4 years ago when they started a wrestling program. But Bellarmine, I honestly forgot about them because you have a 4-year transition period.
That's so crazy, right?
Yeah, when you're moving up. But that is now complete. So Bellarmine in Louisville will be moving up to D1. They were D2 last year, and they announced they're joining the SoCon. So it's nice to see the SoCon get a new team. Their first couple years.
Kyle, what's the other college in South Carolina, and what conference are they joining?
Limestone?
SoCon? No.
You're talking about Presbyterian?
No, the one. Yes. What conference did they join?
They were in the SoCon.
SoCon also.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
I think they're like a full member of the SoCon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, I could be wrong about that, and I could be saying really stupid stuff, but.
Okay. SoCon coming up.
Yeah, and they showed nice progress for a D2 team. That when you start a program from scratch, it's really hard to kind of get the wheels moving. But they showed progress. Their first 2 years, they won like 4 duels total. Then last year, they won 15. They qualified 2 guys for nationals. They got invited to the NWCA national duels, which, correct me if I'm wrong, JD, that goes to like the upper echelon of D2 teams, right?
Yeah. It's not like only the top 8 or whatever, but yeah, the bottom programs aren't always invited. Showing
progress, which you always want to see, and it's always nice to have a new program join the mix. It's a pretty small private Catholic school in Louisville, but obviously they've been able to get some good wrestlers in there and hope that continues.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
And that is starting this upcoming season, hopefully.
Yeah, starting this season. They're in the SoCon and ready to rock and roll. Speaking of SoCon, the Citadel hasn't announced a new coach yet. I just realized that, or thought of that.
Well, it hasn't been all that long, 3 weeks or so?
Yeah, usually, I guess, with everything going on, the coaching search has probably slowed down a little bit with travel restrictions and everything. But, usually it's kind of resolved by now.
So, actually, we're not going to technically, we're not going to lose any Division I programs because we're adding Bellarmine and Presbyterian, although we're losing Stanford and.
Well, we had Presbyterian last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it
It
was one
was
more year
just-
until they're official.
It was a tough scene, to be honest. As we mentioned, it's very tough to start a program, and they did not qualify for anyone for nationals. But I mean, neither did Little Rock in their first year. So it's really tough to start from the ground up, especially in that first year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I know we got Luke Pletcher coming on here in a few minutes. What else do you want to talk about before he gets here?
Maybe just hit on this real quick. I don't know if you saw him on Monday evening, and I kind of meant to hit on it yesterday, and we had a FRL question about it. But Jenna Burkett, two-time world team member. She's been on the past 2 years. You can see, we'll pull up her tweet here. But she's joining the Southeast RTC, and she did clarify she'll still be part of the Army WCAP program. So she'll be kind of splitting her time there and in Blacksburg. But the summer of freestyle free agency moves continues, and
It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey,
Go
correct me
ahead.
if I'm wrong, but with the WCAP program, I know some of those guys were training at Penn State. Some of them, obviously, like the Greco team, was in Colorado Springs. Are you obligated to be in a specific location?
No, the WCAP is actually, they're pretty good about encouraging their athletes to go and find the best training situation for them while still supporting them. I know a lot of WCAP athletes have talked about that. Like Ellis Coleman just last year, I think, went to Illinois as well. And they've had other moves too. So, and they've always been very vocal about. It would be interesting to see, you know, if you're a WCAP athlete, like if their pay gets changed from being full-time WCAP, you know, in Colorado Springs to splitting time with a different training center, you know. I would be interested.
The WCAP always seemed like a good deal to me if I was to be a wrestler.
It's a great deal.
And the other thing you got me wondering is, can they get paid from WCAP and say Southeast RTC? You know, if they're, you know, 'cause that would be. Then you get to double up. Fantastic, right?
I would imagine she probably is. Yeah, that's awesome. Real quick, we got Luke on the line. We'll jump to him in a second. But Cody Cleveland, coach at the Citadel, just clarified that Bellarmine still has a 4-year postseason transition. So they're just in the SoCon, and we'll do duels with SoCon, but not eligible for postseason until 2024, 2025.
That's the same as California Baptist, who is still in their transitional period. And they're approaching the end of theirs, though, I think.
2022, I think.
Yeah. So they get to do everything, and I think like they compete at like the National Collegiate Open or whatever instead of the Division I National Championships for 4 years, which always seemed weird to me when you go from like a Division II to a Division I. Like I kind of understand it maybe for Division I to II, but it always seems strange to me that you would somewhat punish a school for jumping up into a division.
Yeah, it's such 4 years is so freaking long.
That's
so long.
The whole recruiting class.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah,
long.
Like how
insane.
can you recruit good solid recruits when you're trying to go up and get better recruits and say, but you're not going to be able to compete at nationals for basically your
4
whole
years.
career if it's 4 years.
Why would you want to do that?
So weird.
All right. Good stuff there at the opening. But now let's welcome on our guest. It is 3-time All-American, Luke Pletcher. What's going on, Luke?
Yeah. What's up?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Oh my god! It was a beautiful day in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's beautiful out here.
You're up playing disc golf at Shenley Park, aren't you?
No, I'm actually back at my home in Latrobe, but I haven't played there yet, so I'm excited.
Okay. All right.
I see you got a
hey,
you're big into it, huh? You got a big course
I'm
at your
building-
house and stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Building it out. We got 22 of 23 holes done. It's happening. Hey, let me start with this because every Pittsburgh guy I've ever known in my entire life has this loving sentiment towards Pittsburgh. How happy are you to be back in Pittsburgh?
I'm pretty happy about it. I'm not gonna lie. It's just I don't know. It's home for me, so it's a pretty awesome opportunity to be back and in the city of Steel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Kyle, go ahead.
Let's just start at the beginning. How you got on this card, and you were supposed to be facing Anthony Ashnall. So kind of walk us through your thought process when you hear that Astronaut won't be able to compete.
Oh,
He lose me?
he broke up. Do you hear us, Luke?
So I got on the card. I don't even know how it started really. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got you,
I can
Luke.
hear you.
We got you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You guys hear me? Got me? You got me?
Yeah,
I
we
can
got
hear
you.
Yeah.
Like you can hear me. So yeah, I don't really know how this did. And so I guess I got Matt Bowlesby. I'm not sure who he is. I've never met the guy. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're good.
You good? You good? Okay, so yeah, we got a text from him and probably I would say it was April. So just kind of was working with him and trying to get a match, and it started with Seth Gross for a while. That didn't go through, and then he just asked me if I wanted to wrestle Ashnault. I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And we started planning for that, and then about a week ago, he got hurt, and I talked to him, and something happened that was just kind of precautionary. If he kept wrestling, it could have gotten worse. So he couldn't wrestle. So that was kind of unfortunate because I was really looking forward to wrestling him. Someone that I think is up there on the senior level for the U.S. and I wanted to get my hands on him and see where I was. And yeah, I think anytime I get to wrestle somebody like that, it benefits me. So I was a little upset about not getting to wrestle him, but I'm looking forward to wrestle Darian as someone that it always brings a lot of different things to the wrestling match. So it'll definitely be a lot of fun and a good test.
So, Luke, I guess what you just don't care about taking on these bigger guys, because I got to assume that you're going to compete at 66 kilograms for freestyle. Obviously, Ashnault has been up at 70. Luger wrestled 49, and he looked significantly bigger in the last match you did. Is it just at this point you'll wrestle whoever and you're trying to get matches, or is there a certain reason you're picking bigger guys? And then can you confirm that you'll be at 66 moving forward?
Yeah, I'll be at 65 kilos moving forward.
5.
And no, I mean, yeah, I didn't know. I didn't really care about what people weighed at first. I mean, we're not really doing anything. These matches have no real significance.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they're wrestling matches, and I want to win, but I mean, what the heck? Might as well go out there and scrap. And I wrestle bigger guys in the room, and I wrestle big people all the time. So, I mean, why wouldn't I go out there and get a chance to compete and earn some money? And this is what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be wrestling. So why not wrestle everybody?
Absolutely. Can everyone? Can you hey guys, can you guys cut that out and just send that to everybody? Because
yes,
you said Bowlesby contact you in April, and you're not kidding. And most people don't know how difficult it was to put a card together. I mean, I'm kind of on the outside looking in also, but I know these guys at Flow, they were trying for quite a while, so it's so refreshing to hear someone say, "Well, yeah, I'm supposed to wrestle."
Yeah, that's what me and him were talking about it. I think it might have been early April. He was like telling me how difficult it is to put this card together, and he's like we were just saying, like, I don't know how people can say no to money to go out and wrestle for 6 minutes. Like, what?
Yeah,
I don't understand how somebody could say no to that. Like, I've been doing this for 19 years, and now someone finally wants to give me some money to do it. Like, what?
Seriously.
Seriously. How am I going to say no?
Amen.
Yeah.
And to echo your point, we wanted this card to happen like in May. Like we've been trying.
It was planned for what, May 29th or something like that?
Yes. We've been trying to make this happen. It is insane to me how tough it's been to happen, and we've talked about that a lot in FRL, which kind of brings me to my next point. When we announced that Astronaut was out, we just kind of put it out there on Twitter and Instagram, and then everybody and their brother wanted to volunteer to wrestle. Were you surprised to see that kind of response?
Yes, that was
A
wild.
little bit. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised because like we were just talking about, people were so picky about what we're doing, what weight are we doing, what weight, or when are we gonna weigh in, what's the competition gonna be like. But like now all of a sudden everybody wants to do it and it doesn't matter what's going on. So it was kind of surprising to me because of how difficult it's been to get matchups.
Yeah.
What was
That was fascinating, though. That was fascinating, Kyle. How many people actually wanted to wrestle Luke when when it came out? That Anthony was out of that. That was wild. That bird's coming after you, Luke. That thing is loud.
Yeah. Oh, you hear it?
Yeah.
You got like
It's like
hummingbirds whizzing by me as I'm sitting out here.
Yeah, and when we put out the Downey was out, everyone wanted to volunteer for that. So it's interesting how it works. But what was your initial reaction when Bowlesby brought Darian Caldwell to you?
I was in for it. Obviously, he's someone that I've watched in the past. It's kind of been it's been a while since I've been able to watch him wrestle, and
yeah.
I didn't really know him too much outside of the Metcalf match. To be honest with you, I was young whenever that happened. Whenever he was big in the wrestling scene, so I don't really know too much about him. But I just knew he was a big name, and I know he's done some good things in wrestling. So it was just a pretty sweet opportunity to wrestle somebody that I probably will never be able to wrestle again.
How old were you when that Metcalf match happened? Do you know?
That was what, 2009?
2009, yeah. Oh my God.
So that's what, 11. So I was 12.
Wow. I love these
Yeah,
intergenerational matches. This is so fantastic.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
wild.
weird.
Like, who would have
actually.
ever thought, Luke Pletcher,
What-
Darren Caldwell.
Yeah. What NCAs was that? Was that St. Louis or where was that one? 2009.
St.
I think it
Louis.
was
Scott
St.
Trade
Louis.
Center?
St. Louis. Yeah, Scott Trade Center.
Mhm.
Did you go, Luke? Did you ever go to NCAs before you were in college? Never.
No, never went. We had plans to go to the one in Philly, but
Yep,
at that time, it was just when we were like looking at tickets and looking at the prices. My dad was like, "No, we're not doing that." So I talked to my teachers in high school. I was like, "Hey, the NCAAs are on. I'm gonna be in the back, and I'm gonna be watching all the matches. So, should probably just."
And
leave
they
me
said
alone for a
yes.
little bit if you could.
They said no problem.
A couple of them. Me and my buddy,
Wow.
Ethan Stats, who was also on the wrestling team. A couple of the teachers let us slide. So
That's
we got a
awesome.
couple good sessions in. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so producer Tyler, Luke, we're gonna play a clip here. Tyler, if you could pull up number 5, you should be able to see and hear this. Number 5, Tyler. But it's funny you kind of mentioned not really knowing that much about Darian, and he kind of echoed the same kind of things about you, and I just wanted to get your reaction to what he said. I'm still not seeing.
I see this thing going. Like I said, 6 minutes is not 25 minutes. I see this thing going about 2 minutes. I give him 2 minutes before I pin him.
So that wasn't the clip I was hoping for, but you can go ahead.
That's a great one.
yeah, we were
What
going
you
to get
say?
to that one eventually, but 2 minutes, Darian says.
What do you
2
think?
minutes. I really. Well, I'm not really surprised that he would say that, but I think he is going to come out swinging for a minute and a half, and I don't know how much more he's going to have after that, because I think there's a different level of cardio in wrestling, and I've sparred around with some people that are in the MMA world, and I don't think that he'll be able to stand too much more after maybe 3 minutes. If we get past 3 minutes, I don't know if he'll be able to keep up.
Guys, speaking of 2 minutes, made me think of this. Luke, did you ever watch his match in the NCAA quarters with Ryan Lang?
No, I
So
haven't.
this would have been 2007, so you'd have been like 9 or 10. Dude, you got to go watch. It's on YouTube. I just clicked, I just typed it in and made sure it's on YouTube. It's effing. It is the greatest 2 minutes in NCAA wrestling history. They put each other on their back about 4 times each, and then eventually he gets pinned by Ryan Lang. It's really outstanding.
See, that's kind of what I'm expecting him to come into this match with, that kind of mentality.
How do you prepare for a match like this with a guy who the last time he wrestled was he just kind of half-heartedly entered Midlands in 2013. Like that was the last time he stepped on a match. So do you just go back and watch the old college matches? Do you not watch film at all, or just do you expect him to throw the kitchen sink at you?
I mean, it's kind of hard to go back and watch somebody's film from 10 years ago. So it's not like I'm really not going to do that, and I'm kind of just going to expect him to come out and throw basically everything he has.
That was kind of his MO.
Yeah.
Not too many people were coming out headlocking Brett Metcalf in the first period.
Yeah, exactly. So, I was going to kind of come out and expect that, and I'm going to try to get my hands on him for the first, minute and see where he's at, and I think I'll be okay. I'm pretty confident in what's gonna happen, and I'm really excited to see how he is. It's been a while.
I agree.
So I know you said you're back in Latrobe now, which isn't too far from Pittsburgh. What's your training situation like right now? Are you able to get on campus?
No, we can't get on campus. They actually just brought back the student athletes yesterday, I think it was, and they have them in a 2-week quarantine. So they're like doing testing and seeing, hopefully no positive tests, and we can get up and running after these 2 weeks are up. But personally, I've been able to get some really good training. It's kind of a blessing being in Western Pennsylvania. There's people all over the place. So I've been working out with Mickey Philippi. The other day I wrestled with Hayden Hidlay. Evan Henderson's been wrestling with him. Working out with Nico Megaludis tomorrow. So I mean, I've been having good training partners.
That's awesome.
It's just the luxury of being back in Western Pennsylvania in a time like this.
Dude, you really got to watch this match. I'm watching this match. It's so fantastic. Luke, I'm telling you, give me 2 minutes of your day. I will listen. You will realize that I'm not going to disappoint you. After you watch this match, you're like, wow, that was a lot of fun.
Caldwell had a couple of those matches. His semifinals with Jenkins was crazy too in 2008.
Yeah, that was
I think
wild.
that one's on YouTube too if you go and search that one.
So
that was fun.
I might just have to watch his matches for entertainment.
Yeah, they really are awesome. Yeah, there's good wrestling matches to watch as someone who enjoys wrestling. So I think Tyler had the right clip pulled up, number 5 here. So this is when Darian was talking about just like figuring out who you were, and I thought it was interesting. You talked about getting your hands on him. I'll go ahead and play this clip.
Did you know who Luke Pletcher was before this whole thing came up? No?
Nah, but as soon as I seen a video of him wrestling, I'm like, yeah, this kid's legit, So I thought it'd be a great opportunity, I actually looked him up before you guys agreed. I'm like, who's this kid? Oh shit. Okay, let me try this out. Let me try this. He's a tank, man. He's explosive, athletic, and so he's that Big Ten style wrestler. You don't want to let him touch you.
What are your initial thoughts on that?
He seems like a character. He seems. I don't know. I've never met him, so I don't know. I'm actually just kind of looking forward to talking to him and picking his brain a little bit. But obviously, I didn't think he would know who I was. If he says he wasn't in the wrestling loop, but that is kind of funny that he says he doesn't want me to get my, touch him.
Yeah.
But that's obviously going to be my plan. He's a long guy, and I think he's going to probably want to keep him space and try to use his length to his advantage. But yeah, I'm gonna get my hands on him quickly.
Yeah, I see how Darian's going to be able to stay on the outside, and obviously if he is trying to stay on the outside, that's an exhausting game to play, right? If you're moving, if someone's moving forward and pursuing you, the backing and attacking, that's it gets exhausting after a fairly short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about the fact that you have not done a whole bunch of freestyle, and I don't think Darian has also. Do you think that's going to play a role in the match at all, or no? Or are you going to just take downs?
I'm actually gonna try to turn when I get on top. I'm gonna try to turn. I haven't been successful for a long time in an actual match. I think maybe the last 2 times I went to the U23 trials, I think I might have got 1 turn, if maybe not even any turns. I'd usually like, if I didn't get a good lock, I would like try for a little bit, and I was like, I might as well just like save my energy because I know I'm not gonna get it. But I've been putting a lot of time into it recently, just trying to focus a little bit more on the technique. I've been able to talk to the people that I've been wrestling with and ask them questions, and kind of now this is what I'm doing full time, so I better figure out the little things about it. So
yeah, Luke, this is a question from, it's actually about your folk style. Chris came in from Pat Hitchler. If McKenna does not transfer and Tomasella doesn't go back down to 125, how does Luke feel he would have done if he had spent all 4 years at 141?
It's a good question. My sophomore year, I would have been at 133 no matter what. Whether McKenna came in, I think me and Nate would have both done that drop together, where he would have been at 125 and I would have been at 133 no matter what. At that point, I felt like 133 is where I needed to be. Whether that was right or wrong. At that point, I think that was where I needed to be, and that's where I needed to be for the team. That was our really good year as a team, and I think if McKenna wouldn't have been at 41, Keyshawn Hayes would have been there. He wouldn't have been up at 57. So I think no matter what happened, I'd have been at 133 that year, and I don't know if looking back if that would have changed anything, me being at 41.
Did you grow? Because I remember thinking when you were 41 the first year, I thought, wow, he kind of looks small for that. And then when you were at 33, I'm like, okay, 33 looks good size. But then at 41 this year, you looked, I feel like relatively big for the weight class. So did you actually grow during college?
Believe it or not, I actually think I grew an inch. I think
you can get bigger muscles too,
Yeah. I definitely got stronger, and I put on some muscle mass, and I think it was just like me finally like lifting consistently. I always lifted, even in high school I lifted, but I would take breaks from it. But after my sophomore year, I started lifting a lot more consistently, a lot heavier, and I kind of just
got on that Cal Snyder
plan. I figured out that I needed to do things differently, and I was becoming a little bit mature and a little bit more of a professional with how I handled things.
Nice.
So you didn't sell your soul in exchange for living up? That's another question we got about. This one was from Cooper Wills. Luke seemed to be much more dominant this season. What was the difference from this season than the previous 4? And when did the devil approach him about selling his soul in exchange for leveling up?
That's a crazy question. No, I didn't sell my soul, surprisingly. But I don't know what happened. I just started practicing a lot harder, and things kind of started going my way.
Nice.
That's funny.
Well, all right. You guys got anything else for Luke?
I got nothing else. I'm excited for him and Darian. Watch that 2 minutes and listen. Luke, maybe the challenge be you and Darian do more action in 2 minutes than Darian and Ryan Lang did, because that's something I don't know that you can beat that output, but we'll see.
How many points did they put up in 2 minutes?
I want to say it was like 17 or something. It was a lot, a very high number.
That's gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, it was something
That's gonna be
ridiculous.
really hard to beat.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That was
Cool.
pre 4 back points too.
Yeah.
As yeah, correct. Yep.
Oh wow.
So
That's wild.
Well, I
Okay,
know.
well,
Having
watch out.
listened to the Darian stuff, he really wants this to be fun and to put on a show. He's a showman, as I think you can tell. So I know he's just looking forward to going out and competing.
Yeah,
against
Tyler, actually, we have another clip, clip number 4 from it. It's just him talking about, this wasn't even necessarily about you, Luke. It was just about him talking about, like, kind of his sports idols growing up and how those developed. If you want to go ahead and play this, Tyler, it's kind of cool.
I really believe in showmanship, watching guys like Deion Sanders coming up, Michael Irvins, Randy Mosses. These are guys that really just made me who I am, in terms of, that showmanship, and not a lot of, to be able to bring that to the wrestling world, was important, to be able to bring some soul to the wrestling world, but at the same time, wrestling is a sport where you want to keep your head down and push forward, it teaches a lot of discipline for one, a lot of humility for two.
So you can see he cares quite a bit about putting on a show and being exciting.
So let's do it.
Yeah, let's put on a show. I'm gonna be there. I'm there. I think a little bit more business than show, but I think we're gonna. I think we're gonna mix it up. So I'm excited for it.
By the way, there was 13 points on the board, but if Caldwell had gotten off his back, Lang would have gotten 3 more to make it 16.
Yeah.
So 14
I was close.
or 13.
Yep.
Okay. That's gonna be tough.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Luke, thank you for taking the time. I know you did double duty. You did Bader Show yesterday, FRL today. Appreciate the time, and we'll see you down here in Austin in a few weeks.
Sounds good. I'll see you there.
All right. See
Peace.
you, man.
See ya.
Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle, it's only 8 days, bro. Listen, I got my ticket for July 23rd. I think a lot of those guys are coming in July 22nd. Dude, we're getting close.
This is true. I guess I didn't. I said a couple weeks there.
We're getting close. How awesome is it?
I know, it's pretty awesome. There's gonna be real live wrestling, and we're gonna be there in person. We don't even have to watch it on a computer screen or anything. We're gonna see it in person.
Hey, are we doing the social distancing at the tables for the announcing? Because I think that's kind of ridiculous. But if you guys want to do it, we'll do it.
I don't know. I think that's in our plan right now. But the thing is that all of us FloWrestling employees have been around each other.
Yeah.
That's
what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's
quarantine.
virtue signaling with the UFC because it's like, they have their announcing tables that are 6 weeks apart or 6 feet apart. But then I'm looking at Instagram and, the announcers are, they got their arms around each other. It's like, well,
yeah.
But they got their arms around each other. Why do they need to be 6 feet apart? Like, just put them next to each other. Who cares? And they've all been tested multiple times on top of that.
Right. And we're going to have a health care person there screening all of us. And we get screened every day when we come into the office. We have
Do you really?
Yeah, we have a nurse here that takes our temperature and makes sure we're all doing good. We have to
She doesn't let you in the door if you don't check with her?
Yeah, correct. Well, she doesn't get here till a little bit later, so we're already in. But then literally as soon as we get as soon as we get done with FRL, we gotta go see her, or else she'll hunt us down.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's pretty wild stuff. But it's to make sure we can do events like this safely and everything. So.
Yeah. What do you think got Dan Caldwell all fired up to Russ? I think he's just bored because there's no fighting. Because he, obviously it's been, like I said, it's been 8 years or whatever. He's been very active in mixed martial arts. He's got 18 fights. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit.
So he actually talked about that a little bit in his interview with Christian, which, By the way, that's up on the site. It's awesome. It's 30 minutes long. There's a bunch of good stuff in there, some stuff we can even get into on today's show. But he didn't say exactly why now, or like, I don't even know how this really came about, if somehow we reached out to him or if he came to us. But he said he had a really bitter taste in his mouth about how his wrestling career ended, filled with like kind of a disappointing last NCAA season. It was filled with injuries. He didn't feel like he was even close to 100% of himself, both his last college season and those couple of years that he competed on the international scene, and just thought he left a lot on the table. And I think probably with him not being able to fight right now either, he wanted to get some competition, make a little money, and so it's just kind of a perfect colliding of worlds there.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's been pretty active. He's fought. I'm looking at his fighting record. He's fought, 3 times. He only fought 1 time in 17, but he fought 3 times in 16, 3 times in 18, 2 times in 19, January of 2020. So he's been really active. But yeah, so it's nice to see him back. But I always, I mean, I'll just say I love Darren Cole, but I'm skeptical of these guys who take big breaks and then come back to competing. And I feel like obviously I did a little bit of competing. I wrestled in 2010 against Herbert at Midlands. I wrestled with Quentin Wright. I think that was 2012 or 2013. And then a couple years later, I wrestled Clayton Foster. And wrestling training is different than MMA. It's way different. And then the other thing is just like having access to guys good enough to simulate who you're going to wrestle. Like for me to have someone, I don't really have any access to someone on an everyday basis in the room that's as good as Quentin Wright or Clayton Foster. Do you know what I'm saying? Or Jake Herbert. I don't have access to those type of things. And so, I mean, that makes it difficult. And I can't assume that Darren Caldwell has access to very many guys who are as good as Luke Fletcher is.
He did say that kind of layoff from wrestling training allowed nagging injuries that he had that he thought were because like a shoulder. He had a really bad shoulder, and he said, not getting in those hard wrestling positions every day and training more fighting kind of allowed those injuries to heal a little bit. So,
yeah. Well, I hope he looks good because obviously prime Darren Caldwell was, fantastic in 2009.
He also said in that interview, 2009, Darren Caldwell would have beat if he was 100% healthy.
It was 2010. 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
Right, that was the year?
Yeah, it was 2010, the year they were in the same bracket.
Yeah, 2010. He would have beat Cal Dake.
I wish. That would have been so awesome to see that match.
No, wait. I think it's 2011, actually.
No, it was 2010, I think, because he beat Metcalf in 2009, right?
Yeah, but then remember he hurt his shoulder.
Oh, and he redshirted or something.
Yeah, he missed an entire year. It was 2011. Yeah, he was in the bracket.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah, he said Kyle Dake wouldn't be effing with me.
Really?
He didn't say effing though.
He did not say effing.
I mean, like in retrospect, that seems kind of crazy knowing what we know about Kyle Dake. But at the time, Darren was the 1 seed, and Kyle Dake was the 4 seed, and he had just lost to
LaValle.
Oh my gosh, the Bucknell kid, Kevin LaValle.
Yeah.
At EIWAs. So, there were a lot of people who thought that Kyle Dake may be able to beat Darren Caldwell, but it wasn't like, oh yeah, Kyle Dake's gonna beat him easy.
No, yeah,
that's not how it went down.
No, for sure, and I don't think he would have beat him easy. I would have picked Dake in that match. I'm actually working on kind of like a timeline of Dake and Chamizo since 2010, like what they were doing each year and how they got to where they are now. And so I was looking at Kyle Dake's 2011 run, and even though he was a 4 seed, he was so dominant that tournament. He outscored everyone 32-1. The 1 point was to Molinaro in the finals, who of course he rode for 6 minutes.
Yes, but so obviously he didn't have to face the 1 seed because Caldwell lost really early on. I mean, so there's that part of it, right? Mm-hmm. And then who was the 5 in that? I'm gonna look it up now.
It was Jamal Parks.
Yeah, and Jamal
I'm looking
Parks
at the bracket right now.
Also under performed at NCAAs. So I mean, who's the 3? Because
LaValle got the 3 because he beat Dake. Molinaro was the 2. Dake 4.
And then
Parks
Caldwell
5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jason Chamberlain was 6. Mario Mason 7. Gambayar Sanja was the 8 seed, and he's the one who ended up coming out of that top quadrant and seeing Dake in the semis.
Yeah.
So yeah, Donnie Vincent
Yeah,
was in that bracket.
I wish we could have seen. And Donnie Vincent had beaten Kyle Dake also that year.
Yeah, and Vincent lost first round to Cole Schmidt.
And didn't Donnie Vincent come all the way back that year though and take like 4th, or 3rd?
No, not this year.
One of the years, Donnie Vincent lost first round and then came back and took either 3rd or 4th.
Wow, so Vincent actually went 0-2 barbecue because he dropped down and lost to Justin Gaethje.
Wow, jeez, Donnie Vincent.
This was a solid bracket, man.
I wish we could take a time warp and go back and see if a healthy Darren Caldwell and a healthy Kyle Dake in 2011 that would have been a fun match because Darren Caldwell would have been throwing all the heat at him, and Dake obviously is usually a very controlled style, so it would be interesting to see how it would have played out.
Yeah.
Caldwell also said if he could have celebrated like they do now, he would have made 4 NCAA finals. So maybe he wouldn't have even need to been healthy. Maybe he could have just known that he could have partied after he won, celebrated a bit, and he would have made.
I guess they let him celebrate a little more, but they still freaking dock team points like it's going out of style.
Yeah, they don't really celebrate. Remember when the Nebraska bench got
oh my god
high fives after Isaiah Waite pinned Ethan Smith? That was absurd.
They docked Bo when he slammed his headgear.
They docked Bo, yeah, when he all he did was he spiked his headgear into his corner. Like he literally threw it to his corner. They docked Kyle Snyder when he threw his headgear into the crowd after beating Kuhn.
Yeah.
Like what are you serious right now?
Well, I think isn't like the actual terms like throwing your headgear in the rule book.
Yeah, it is, but what are we doing?
Fix the rule book.
All right,
Yeah.
JD, get out.
Pick the rule book.
I'm saying it's dumb too.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, but that whole interview with Darren Caldwell that Christian did was really cool. They got into a lot of cool stuff. He also said part of the motivation for him the first time he wrestled Metcalf was getting a car. That was the time he spladled him and pinned him. He got a car for that from his dad. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So wild.
Yeah. And they just got into a bunch of cool stuff. So if you have time, go watch that.
Yeah, and one of you guys mentioned, I don't know how Darian got brought into this at all, like the match, and I think he just commented on Instagram, like, because we were like, Pletcher's out, who wants in? And he said something on Instagram, and then we were talking, we were like, man, that'd be fire if Caldwell came back. And then so we reached out to him, he was serious, went through all the hoops he needed to go through with like Bellator, and him and Luke agreed upon a weight, and here we are.
Boom. You know, those Instagram comments can have real life consequences. I think some people forget that.
They do. Yeah, people are learning that lesson, I think, daily.
Daily.
I think it's time we put up another Spay vs. Murder Hornets post.
Oh, gosh.
Those are my favorite comments.
Speaking of...
I don't read too many comments, but I read those comments.
People freaking
clowning
hate
on Spay.
Spay on Instagram just because he likes criteria.
What's wrong with him?
And so Joe will just like post when Spay makes criteria memes about how it's better than overtime, and he'll post that on Instagram, and then everyone just dunks on Spay.
Yeah, he makes sure you always tag Spay.
Speaking of another person Instagram loves, Austin DeSanto. We kind of talked about RBY.
Well, wait, this is funny because Austin DeSanto does not have an Instagram.
He doesn't.
But Instagram still loves him.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the mystique of Austin DeSanto is that we don't get to see anything about him except on the mat, the antics on the mat.
That's it. It does probably add to the mystique of him, huh? I was just telling you guys before the show that, one of the most fascinating things to me is like how to create a star. It's I feel like it's almost an impossible recipe. And, it's something I study with the UFC. And obviously I was able to parlay my short time into quite a bit of fame. But most people, it's like, UFC can put millions of marketing dollars behind some guys and they just aren't likable, or they just don't tune in. People don't tune in to watch them. And so it's like DeSanto. I feel like DeSanto is such an anomaly because no one has put any marketing dollars behind him. He's not even on social media, so he ain't trying. And there's something about him that is just like a freaking magnet. It's bizarre.
And it's crazy. It didn't really start till, his senior year of high school. And
Wait, hold on. Can I comment on some idiot on the Facebook comment? They said it's because Flo used to shove him down our throat. He doesn't need IG. Well, guys, let me tell you. Well, here's how it works in the social media world. Flo posts a first picture of Austin Santos sometimes. There's never not a first picture, right? There is always, in fact, a first picture or first video. Okay. Then the reaction to that is nuts, right? For whatever reason, people like it, people comment in numbers, right? The Flo's data shows that. So what do you guys think that Flo does? Let me guess, Kyle. You post another one. Oh, yeah. People like that a lot? Oh, maybe we'll post another one. Guys, that's how it works. Like, they do a post and people like it, and so they decide to do another post. Posts that get more interaction, and I do this with my own personal social media. If I talk about a topic and it gets a lot of interaction, I will generally speak about that topic more. If I talk about something and nobody cares, I'll generally stop talking about that topic. Guys, I mean, I don't understand why this is so hard for people to figure out. It's like, okay, you post about somebody and nobody cares. Do you think Flo's going to post about that person again?
You nailed it, Ben.
Nailed it. I mean, yeah. I just don't, but people can't figure this out. It's like, I don't know. It's like it's rocket science, Kyle. It makes me crazy.
I know.
It literally makes me crazy. Like, I don't even know how they can't get it.
Yeah. I got no answers for you. I've been here for 6 years and haven't figured out how people still don't get it yet. But we were talking about the stars. Sebastian Rivera, his freshman year, he placed in nationals. That's awesome for a freshman to place in nationals. He took, I think, fifth or sixth, but he was just another guy, And then by Midlands the next year, he beats Spencer Lee, and he has some interviews where he just says what he's thinking after he beats Ronnie Bresler at CKLV, and after beating Spencer at Midlands. He becomes his household name, and he's a star. And it just takes off. Like, no one could have predicted that.
Nobody. And there's something, it's like, you always wonder. I mean, because listen, here's the Flo. If you guys could, like, if you had the recipe, you could tell people how to be a star.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you guys don't want 6 stars. You want 60 stars.
Right.
You want 600 stars. You want as many stars as possible because stars get traffic. So does the UFC. So does everybody, right? I mean, what if the UFC had 60 Conor McGregors? They would be one of the most expensive businesses on planet Earth. And so, like, it's so funny because, like you're saying, Sebastian Rivera does that interview, and you guys see the numbers, boom, explode. And, like, it's like, what about the interview made him a star? It's like you can't really – there's no exact formula or science. It just happened. There's something organic. And, who knows, maybe someday we'll get a formula on it, but it's – it's something that I think about a lot. I would say I kind of study it, and it's so hard to say, this is it. This is why. It's really difficult.
Yeah, because, I mean, David Taylor is a superstar. But because you kind of think of, like, what do Sebastian Rivera and, like, Austin DeSanto have in common? Like, they're both, like, emotional and passionate, and Rivera in his interviews is, like, point blank will tell you exactly what he's thinking, and he cusses and stuff like that, and he's got this big personality, and DeSanto has this big personality on the mat too, but David Taylor is just a point scoring machine. He doesn't really have that big of a personality on the mat. He doesn't really celebrate. There's no antics. Spencer Lee. Yeah, exactly. So and both those guys, David Taylor and Spencer Lee, are very respectful in their interviews, and they give you good answers. It's just very respectful of their opponents and everything like that. And, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's just it drives me crazy when people act like there's an agenda there, and there's just not. And people need to understand the business of promoting this. It is honestly, whether it's UFC, right, which is again something
I've been paying attention to for a decade plus, or wrestling. That doesn't matter. Okay, what were you gonna do? Questions with friends, or hey, so I did get PSAC did
Let me find
cancel fall sports. Unfortunately, I just found a link. So that's there's 18 teams in Pennsylvania, one Shepherd College in West Virginia, but that's a whole bunch of wrestling colleges. That's Pitt, Johnstown, Edinburgh, Clarion, etc.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to be in the same position. It says be put on hold till December 31st. Yeah, so they'll be in the same position as the Ivies. You'll kind of be allowed to practice as long as you're following like your state and your school's guidelines, but no competitions till then, man.
So let me ask you this, Kyle, because I don't really know college football, that world all that well, or really whatsoever. I don't know it at all. I feel as though these three conferences, which have done this now, the Patriot League, the Ivies, and then another PSAC, they are all conferences who maybe don't have big football programs, maybe don't make a lot of money off of it, or something to that effect. Do you think that comes into effect because we're not hearing the SEC or the Big Ten do this type of thing?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so hard to tell what's going on. I think the Power 5 conferences like the SEC and the Big Ten, they have a lot of money at stake to have football this fall with the TV contracts, where these other conferences like the Ivy and the PSAC don't, and they can afford to just move football to the spring. And those conferences aren't really going to have players that are going to be skipping the season to go play or to go try to get drafted. I think there's a lot more riding on this happening in the fall for these bigger conferences.
Yeah. Okay, well that's disappointing. I feel like we have some disappointing news every day. Who knows? Maybe we'll just keep putting on pro cards if they keep not doing stuff in the fall and there's no football to watch. It'll be MMA and then pro wrestling cards. That's
right.
it.
I wouldn't be too mad about that.
That's really all I watch, anyways.
Okay, yeah, we can hop into Q's from F's. Let's see where we want to start at.
Yeah. A few of those for Luke.
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of ducked my question about him growing in size, and maybe he said he got a little bit bigger. But I know myself in college, I changed size from when I got there to then my freshman year. So I got so much bigger. I mean, I think I was like 173 pounds when I got to college, or 174 pounds, and then by the next fall I was 190. I filled out. I put on a lot of muscle, and so it's like if I was like trying to start my freshman year, I probably would have been 60. If I wrestled 65, but then obviously I got a lot bigger, and then 74 was perfect for me.
Yeah, and he wasn't supposed to wrestle his freshman year. Keyshawn Hayes got hurt, and he just kind of got thrown into line at 41. He was very undersized, so I agree with him that 33 was the best place for him his sophomore year. But I think his junior year, he was pulling a lot to get to 33.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so
he was full size 41 by this year. He was big.
Yeah, he was a tank, as Darian said, and that's no lie. Yeah. Let's start with CJ Kemp. Has Ben ever thought about running for UWW president?
I don't do bureaucratic organizations. Obviously, like I've expressed multiple times, it's one of my goals, one of my life goals, to have some type of professional wrestling league, right? And I've tried twice. I failed twice. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try again. My wife says one of my best characteristics is my persistence, So I mean, that's going to be one of the things that I try to keep doing. And so here's my vision of it is, at some point, a professional wrestling league which can pay people adequate salaries will overtake the UWW, which is a dysfunctional bureaucratic organization, right? So that's what I see happening, right? Maybe like I think a good model would be, you have a few different models. You could take the UFC, that would be a decent model, right? Where they just do cards and they have champions. I think that's a potential thing that wrestling can head towards. I think you could also do something like say a tennis or something like that.
Like golf,
where tennis or golf, where they have tournaments and they accrue an amount of points.
majors,
And then what?
like they have
exactly.
in big tournaments that get you points, whatever.
Yeah. And then at the end, you crown the points winner, and you have maybe that determines seeding at the World Championships. I just think there's a lot of ways.
That's what
you can go with
UWW is
it.
trying to move in the direction of.
Yeah,
With the ranking series.
Yeah, they don't move very fast at all. So yeah, I would not be the president of UWW, but I would love to. It would be one of my life's goals, and it is. And I've stated many times to have some type of professional wrestling league happening, and I've I made 2 attempts. I failed. It's not easy. It's not, and that's why there's some of these people who are complaining about cards. Like, listen, guys, I put on, how many wrestling cards have you put on? I put on 11. I think we lost money on 11. It is not easy to make money. It is a freaking challenge, and obviously in 2020, maybe it's different than 2012, 2013, 2014, in terms of the ability to put on a show, to do production, to get marketing out there. It's different, but it's still not easy.
Okay.
What about you, Bracky? Would you be president of the UWW?
No, I don't want to deal with everything that goes into that. At McChill Hill, if Dake wrestled Greco instead of freestyle after he graduated college, would he have won gold at the Olympics in 2016?
Hey, check that display picture too.
Yeah, that's well, display. Sorry, I clicked over something.
I see you, Ben.
I don't want to comment on this one because I don't know. I never seen Kyle Dake wrestle a Greco match. I would guess he's probably pretty good, but who knows?
He wrestled
Did he wrestle?
Greco in 2014 actually at Grapple the Garden. He took on
He did?
Yep. Because for some reason I don't know
I forgot
exactly
about that.
why.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. I think he said he just kind of wanted to train Greco for a bit. It would help him with his freestyle. I don't think he stopped his freestyle training, but I remember him being out at the OTC in 2014 working with Lin, like specifically for Greco for a little bit.
Really?
And took on the defending world champ from Armenia, and I think he lost, but I think the score was 6-3 or
really?
something like that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I do not remember this happening at all. Do you remember this, Bracky?
I do now that he's mentioned it. I don't remember how the match went and all that stuff, but I do remember the match happening. To say that the guy
I don't think he would have
win,
won a world or an Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like to say the guy would have won Olympic gold, it seems like pretty far-fetched. I can see him having success in Greco because Kyle Dake's just a winner and he's really good upper body, and I think if he devoted full-time training to that, he would be really good at it.
And great gut wrench, and gutting in Greco is obviously easier than gutting in freestyle because they can't grab your legs or hook the legs or anything like that.
And with forced parterre too, he's gonna get a chance on top at some point during the match.
Because he's great at controlling space.
Yeah, Mike did this really awesome breakdown on Dake's gut wrench. I think we ran it yesterday on the site, but 18 of his points the last 2 world championships have been scored on top from a gut wrench, which is really high, especially at the world championships. And there were some quotes in there from Yanni just about how he hits it and is so effective with it. It's crazy.
Yeah, hey, man. Now I'm talking myself into the fact that he might have been good at Greco.
Well, I think it's like almost an insult to say he would have won an Olympic gold, but
So Spade just hit me up. It was I'm gonna butcher this name.
Arsen Jafalakian.
Yep, there you go. Jafalakian. He said 1 gut for Dig, 3 guts for Jafalakian. All force parts hair points.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Maybe he could have been really good. Maybe.
So there you go. Maybe that's your answer.
Maybe. What do you say, Kyle? Would he be an Olympic champion?
I don't. It's so hard to say somebody would be an Olympic champion. I would say no. I could see him like making our Olympic team, and if he had devoted that full time after he finished at Cornell, and not focused on freestyle, yeah, I could see him making the Olympic team. But to say he would have won Olympic gold seems kind of crazy. At J-Rod Lee, please give your speculation on the Stanford wrestlers that may leave and who may stay. If they leave, where would they fit best? It sounds like the majority, and no one else has gone into the portal since Real Woods. It sounds like the majority of them are going to stick this year out because
there's still a chance, they haven't come out and said if we raise this much, the program stays alive, but the wrestling world or whatever a lot of times has really been able to rally around dropped programs and raise quite a bit of money. So I am hopeful.
Yeah, one of the other things that I thought about with this, and maybe I don't know why people maybe wouldn't enter the portal because of it, but obviously we are in July, so most teams probably have their scholarship money for 2020, 2021 locked up already, right? They don't have a lot floating around there. So for a Stanford wrestler to transfer now, they probably would be having to go into a situation where they're almost like a walk-on because there's just not a lot of money available anywhere.
Yep.
So obviously if they, say declare next year, say right after the NCAA championships, they will both have accomplished the fact that more scholarship money will be available and that they've given Stanford, 9 months or whatever to try to save the program. So I think, I think it probably makes a lot of sense for those guys to stick around for another year. Maybe Real Woods is a guy where people will figure out how to make scholarship money available, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, and also to remember with the Kennedy Monday thing, this now allows him to be contacted by other college coaches, so it could be a way of him just like feeling out the market.
True.
What can I get out there? Because he can always go back to Stanford. Now they can. Stanford, I guess, could be pissed at him and say, okay, well, we're taking your money for this year, but I would doubt they would do that with only 1 year left on the program.
And because they have all their recruits already locked up, so it's not like they can give money to anybody else at this point in time. Or it's unlikely. It's not like anyone's probably going to transfer to Stanford knowing they only have 1 year left.
I did see a story on Kyle Rowan, who's a pretty solid hammer from Ohio, who signed with Stanford in the 2020 class, and he said he's going to stick with it and go out there this year and just see what happens and hope for the best. So I think that's what you're going to see out of most guys. It's pretty late in the game, as we were talking, to kind of try to transfer. Johnny Roast Beef. If 2020 Worlds happen this winter, that doesn't affect the seeding / status of the upcoming Olympic trials, does it? I.e., if Dake were to win the spot at 74 kilograms of metal, does JB still get to buy the finals of the Olympic trials?
Correct. It does not affect the Olympic trials seeding.
Yeah, which is, I think it's kind of dumb, but yeah, it does not.
DeSada Cup collector.
All I see is P.
All I see is P.
Phenomenal name.
2 days in a row. How will Flow be creative with new event to add entertainment beyond good matchups? You already vetoed new rules. How about might of coaches? Discretion to add a period of great match, etc. Test innovations, push
discretion to add a period? That sounds like the worst thing ever. Like, these guys are tired of stuff. Oh, let's go one more. Overtime.
Ben, do you remember at the Who's Number One with Fix Soriano? Like,
yeah,
those guys were wrestling for like 10 minutes after. We were all like saying, like, what do we do?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, but then eventually, I mean, those guys are minors, and so it's like, shoot, if someone gets hurt and we just made them wrestle for 25 minutes, like, is there a liability issue? And both their parents are like, no, let them go, and we're like, do we let them go? Like, when do we end this? This is crazy. No one's gonna get taken down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was totally wild.
That was my first official event as a Flow employee. And we were just sitting back there, and everyone's just like, I don't know what to do. And, time just kept racking up.
So crazy.
man, those guys, I mean, they were tired, but like they weren't exhausted after that. Like,
Yeah, they went hard.
that's crazy. I don't know. I think we're always looking to be creative and push the envelope. I think mic'd up coaches could be good, and we've
That'll
done
be
that.
good.
We've done that not live, but where you get to hear it afterwards. So it kind of could be cool if they were mic'd up live. I'm not big for like the gimmick matches, kind of like I know we've talked about that here on FRL before. Like,
What do you mean by that?
like
new
Freco
rules.
matches, like 1 period freestyle, 1 period
Yeah.
Greco. Like,
I
I'm
don't
not
dig
I'm not a huge fan of like just modifying the rules. Like that, like David Taylor wanted to make the periods longer and like no tech fall.
Yeah.
Like I just
Yeah.
like the real matches. I think it kind of takes away from what it's supposed to be when you mess with it. But maybe around the production standpoint, we can add some things. Is there anything you see in like other sports, Ben, you'd like to see here?
Well, I was just trying to think of UFC, like, what is, on that one, what is, we'll get more camera angles, but you guys are starting to do that. Replay is a huge one that wrestling didn't used to have, and you guys are starting to do that. That's a big one. I can't really think of
maybe
anything
being
else.
like UFC, you hear what they're saying in the corner, in between rounds.
Yeah, that would be mic'd up coaches. I kind of like that idea. I mean,
Yeah.
he said that.
Not all coaches
I
want to
don't
be
mind
mic'd
that one at
up.
all. Too bad. I mean, that's the UFC doesn't ask you. They say who's the main coach. We're micing you up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious, guys. They don't ask you. You don't have a choice. Listen, you participate in the event, you get mic'd up. That's it.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they hear everything. I imagine, with no fans at this event, I'm sure we'll have like music or something playing in the background, but we're gonna hear a lot more from coaches than we usually do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. That'll be very, very interesting to hear. I think it's fascinating. One of the things that's been fascinating at the last couple of UFCs, because all of them have been no fans, has been that some of the fighters are taking notes from the commentators, right? And most of the commentators in the UFC are, it's Daniel Cormier or Michael Bisping. Like, they've had a lot of success fighting, and they'll say, so-and-so needs to do such and such. And there's been multiple times now where a fighter has commented and said, hey, I heard Daniel say this, but that was a great idea. So I started implementing it in my fighting, so I think that's really funny too.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I wonder who will be the first wrestler to implement a suggestion that Christian Piles or Mark Bader makes.
Awesome.
Maybe you can. Are you on the? Are you going to be on the mic? You'll probably be on the mic, right?
I think I'm like the MC, but
Okay.
I'm not totally sure. I'm going to show up and I'm going to see what they want me to do, and then I'm going to do that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Ben, you got big plans this weekend?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually traveling with my wife. So we had our 10-year anniversary in April, and we didn't get to celebrate because we were locked down. So we're gonna go celebrate.
Nice.
Yeah. So
and
I get to
also
travel
just-
2 weekends in a row. It's gonna be
Dang.
awesome. I haven't traveled. I literally haven't traveled since February, which is the longest period in my adult life without traveling. So it's been very strange. But I'm excited.
All right. Well, I think that's about all for today. JD,
Cool.
thank you for stepping up, filling in the past couple of days. Christian Piles will be back tomorrow from San Diego. He's en route back right now. I saw he's taking a page out of my playbook, and he's drinking a Coke, 6:21 a.m.
What's wrong with him?
He said the coffee line was too long.
Oh my goodness, Christian Pyle. It's gross.
Oh,
Wow.
man, so you'll have to yell at him when he gets back tomorrow. But thank you again
All right.
for tuning in to FRL 521. Thank you to Luke Pletcher. He was awesome. Really excited to watch him compete July 25th. See you tomorrow, folks.
Peace.